This is the creating the master. I'm just going to go through this. These are the original running wheels of the running gear of the Tiger in the front part. I wanted to add some details, so we die cast these out of metal, and here you can see the metal have already been die cast. For those of you, white metal is mostly tin, and they call it die casting. And this shows how they fit on the model. You got to make sure that you can get them on after the plaster Paris model is made, and so the holes have to be appropriately in the right position. I also had to make some additional parts because they got lost over the years, and so that's what you're seeing here. This is where the running gear, you can't mold it with all those spaces in there, so we fill up all those spaces with plaster Paris, and that's clean clay that you see around there, and you just pour plaster Paris in there, and through some sculpting and dremeling you come up with this. This makes sure that you'll be able to extract the master out of the mold, and it comes looking like this, and it's easy to pull this out of the mold and have the plaster come out in one piece. There's some additional things that have to be done. The inside of the tank must now be filled with plaster. I use plaster. You can use other materials, but basically you have to pull a vacuum, so these things have to be filled up completely with no air pockets. This is the FIFO air cleaning system that I had to add back in because I wanted it in this model. This just shows after filling the tank, you create the hole where the turret will sit, and that's all this is. Moving on to the turret, this just gets filled with plaster after you clean clay all the holes and make sure it's done. And when you fill the white cup looking thing there with plaster Paris, and out comes a nice turret ring that fits neatly into the hole that you've just made in the body of the Tiger. This is an example of what's left. Of course, we flatten out that plaster and make it look good. Then we get to the final part of the tank, making sure that everything's the way you want to look at, and there's no things you don't want on there. After that's done, then it's time for painting. And paint the body of the tank and of course the turret of the tank. This provides a nice clean surface for the molding rubber to not adhere to, and it's also a final check to make sure that you've got everything in the right place that you want it, and if you want to add more detail or not add more detail, you can. Those are the rubber treads that we'll get to talk about later on in the next video, and after it's done, it's ready to go.